Good evening, YouTube. So I've been nominated by Count Miffed to do the 10 questions motovlog. So thanks very much for him. I'll link his video down below so you can all go and watch that. So the first question is, when did you start riding motorcycles? I just checked my license before I got on because I couldn't remember. I started learning in 2011 and I passed my test in April 2012. So I've been riding for just over 4 years on big bikes. But yeah, so it's nearly 5 years, like in total, if you go from when I did my CVT, which I suppose you would, because that would be when I started riding bikes. Question number 2: why did you start riding motorcycles? I don't really know, to be honest. Yeah, so it's something I'd always wanted to do. My dad's always ridden bikes, so I've kind of always been around bikes. I suppose the better question is, why didn't I start doing it earlier? So in February, I think it was, of 2011, my then girlfriend and I broke up, and I moved out of the flat, and we both moved out of the flat, and I ended up moving in with some friends, and it was just kind of, as I say, it was something I'd always wanted to do, and I found myself in a position where I had a bit more spare time, a little bit more money, because I was sharing a house that worked out a lot cheaper than the flat I'd been in, and I thought, yeah, bollocks, I'm just going to do it, why not? So yeah, that's why I started, because it was just something that I've always wanted to do, basically. Question number 3 is, what was your first motorcycle? I think I'll have to pull over and check these in a minute. Question number 3, what was your first motorcycle? I learnt to ride on a Honda CG125. My first big bike was a Suzuki Bandit, the 600, the naked one. It was a Mark 1 Bandit. Really, really nice, cool motorcycle. Hello. And I ended up keeping that for about 3 years, I think, something like that, and it went through all sorts of incarnations, and it got chopped about, and it was red when I bought it, and by the time I sold it, half of it was purple, and it had a skateboard for a seat, and basically I fucked it up completely and then sold it on to some bloke who wanted to use it for parts for a cafe racer. Question number 4 is, how many bikes have you ridden? I think. So there's the Honda, there's the Suzuki. I also had a Kawasaki VN 800 while I had the Suzuki. I then had a Triumph Sprint 1050 ST, which lasted about 3 weeks. So what's that? That's 4. I then had this. I then bought this, the Ninja. So 5, and then the Harley. 6 bikes I've owned. I've ridden loads more than that, because I've done loads of test rides and stuff on other bikes now. So yeah, but bikes I've owned 6. Can't remember what the other questions are now. Having a fucking mental block. Oh god, mental block. I'm gonna have to pull over and have a look. Dream bike, off-road street, accidents. Got to turn around. Got to turn around. Oh, it's just got such a crap turning circle. Okay, so next question is, what's your dream bike? Honestly, I don't know. I don't think I've got one particular bike that is what I would call my dream bike. My dream would be to have a garage and the means to be able to have lots of bikes. But that's probably a bit of a cop-out. In an ideal world, I would have one of every different kind of bike, basically. I'd like to have like a super sport bike, like a middleweight sports bike. I'd love to have a big sports bike. I'd love to have a big adventure bike. I'd love to have a little dirt trail bike. I'd love to have a classic bike. I'd love to have a cafe racer. I'd love to have like a fucking brat chopper thing. I'd love to have a big Harley. It's just too many bikes to name just one dream bike. So the next question is, are you an off-road or a street rider? All of my bikes have been road bikes. I've never really done any off-roading. I would quite like to give it a go. I'd love to have a go at like a motocross type thing, or trials bikes or something. I don't know what they call it. Flat track type stuff, but not at speed, because I'd be scared. Come on, mate, fucking move. Number 7. Have you ever had an accident? Yes. All my own fault. Really minor stuff. So if you've been watching my channel for a little while, you might have seen my Harley Davidson mishap. Really slow speed. Nearly crashed into the back of a lorry and ended up falling over, basically. Totally my own fault. Wasn't paying enough attention. Bit dozy in the morning. This road looks really dodgy. This looks like there's a big line of gravel all down the middle of it. I'm not sure if it actually is. So yeah, here's a little clip of that. Oh, good. Traffic. So yes, I've also dropped pretty much all of my bikes on the driveways and things like that. I also dropped my Harley Davidson in the middle of central London after a night out. I hadn't been drinking, but all of my mates were getting the train back and I'd ridden in, and I was sat in front of them gloating about how uncomfortable it was going to be for them on the train and how hot and sweaty and nasty it was going to be. And I forgot that I'd left the steering lock on the Harley and proceeded to set off, giving my friends like a two-fingered salute, and then immediately fell over. So that was even more embarrassing. Unfortunately, I didn't get that on film, so I can't put that in here. What a shame. So yeah, question number 8. When did you start motovlogging? I think I started well, I've not quite been doing it for a year yet. I'm pretty sure it was sort of early 2016. So we'll go with something like 9 months-ish. And I suppose I kind of started because I stumbled across a little known guy called Baron von Grumble, and he very much appeals to me. His sense of humour is brilliant. He's got a real kind of what I call a grammar school sense of humour, which is exactly what I grew up with, having gone to a grammar school. All of my mates are very, very similar. Toilet jokes and all sorts of, stupid stuff and stupid noises, basically. But yeah, so I stumbled across him, and then I found people like Smo, Andy Man Cam, and then I found like some of the smaller guys like Count Mift and Smokey Bar, and then I sort of started looking into local guys. So I found a guy called Beyond Biking, who I quite enjoy. there's loads. Captain Rambunctious. I should be answering this in the next question. So yeah, the question number 9: what motovloggers do you follow? All of those ones I just said, and many, many more. So yeah, so Baron von Grumble, 44 Teeth, both of those, you know, are kind of a given for all motovloggers, I think. But yeah, Smo, Count Miffed, Smoky Bar, Captain Rambunctious. I like watching Mr. Faffington's videos. He's got a very nice garage. Phil 480. There's loads and loads and loads that I subscribe to. Too many to mention all of them. Oh, come on. Oh, you're not paying attention. Filtering along. Filtering, this is his filtering song. So, question number 10, the last of the questions. Does your bike have a name? Yeah, all of my bikes have had names. So this one is called Bruce because he's kind of like the Hulk, but he's not as big and mean. If he'd been 1000cc, I'd have called him the Hulk, but he's not. He's Bruce, so he's named after Bruce Banner. I'm gonna let this guy come past. He is filtering much faster than I would. Yes, so this one's called Bruce. The Harley Davidson does have a name, but I can't remember it. I think it was Penny. I don't really use the names all that much. I never actually refer to them by their names. I just tend to name them when I get them and then forget about it. But yeah, all of my bikes have had names. The Bandit was obviously called Susie because it's a Suzuki, and anyone that's ever owned a Suzuki calls it Susie. Wow, some angry filtering going on there. So yeah, that's it. That's the 10 questions done. Now at the end of these videos, you're supposed to nominate someone to do it next. So I am going to nominate Beyond Biking because I don't think I've seen him do one. So I'm assuming he hasn't been nominated yet. But also, anyone else that hasn't been nominated already, please feel free to consider yourselves nominated and go and do this thing and make a video about it so that we can all watch it. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this filtering and I will see you all soon. Cheers, bye.